Hey, this is Samar Newsom again, and this is the Musician Shed podcast. Today I got a very good colleague friend of mine by the name of Al Carty. Al Boogie, what's good, man?
I'm good, man. It's
How's everything?
Great.
Yeah. How's so? I mean, on just a little bit about this show. Like, this show is really based around like my experience as an MD, as a musician over like 25 years, and just like thinking, you know, we want to leave some breadcrumbs for some people.
Yeah.
We want to encourage some people. We want to be a blessing to people. You know what I'm saying? Because musicians' life is not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's unique. People don't always understand us. Relationships can be tough. So first off, let's talk about tell the people who you are, because, you know, some people might not be as familiar with you. Okay. Obviously, you know, if you're in New York, everybody kind of knows who you are. But,
I don't know about everybody, but
tell the people who you are.
All right, my name is Al Carty. I'm a bass player, musical director, producer. I've been working across a few different genres of music for quite some time now. Former musical director for Alicia Keys, current bass player for Rob Thomas for the last 20 years. I've also toured with Tony Braxton, Enrique Iglesias, Queen Latifah, Joe, Michelle Ndigga, cello, you know, a few other people.
Nice. That's a nice mix too of different genres. Do you have, first of all, how did you get started in that? Let's talk about that.
Like 90% of us, I started playing as a kid and getting my opportunities in church. Once they see you got a little, you know, inkling or desire to like actually play music. And when I was young, my parents got me guitar lessons. I took formal guitar lessons for a while. I ended up playing catch up later with my ear. My ear wasn't that great when I was young, but it developed later on. And I would say I was dabbling, you know, drums, bass, you know, tinkering for a good number of years. When I got to high school, though, that's when my friends kind of was like, you know, you're really good on bass.
You're good at this.
Yeah, you know, but more specifically bass, because I was playing like drums in band. I was playing timpani in one band, you know, glockenspiel in another concert band. But when they heard me on bass, before I know, it's like, okay, we need you in the gospel chorus. Oh, we need you in the jazz band. We need you doing this. So, and, you know, back then, you know, you had like the community choir scene, the local gospel scene, and I started doing stuff, and eventually word got out.
Nice. And that's how it is. It's always like word of mouth. And I mean, nowadays I see so many musicians and I'm thinking like, yo, there's just a lot of musicians out here.
Yeah.
And I think there's always just a lot of potential people. But I think when you do things that stand out, you know, you get more attention. You know what I'm saying? And not on purpose, because some people like really just try to show out.
Yeah.
But I think when it's just like when you're just doing what you believe and you're not like necessarily like, let me go do some over thing. You just try to do a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that is underrated. And I think to get a resume like yours, it takes a lot of like discipline and a lot of like work ethic and stuff like that. Tell me about like what your work ethic is, and like how you develop that, because everybody don't know like, okay, you got to practice such, you know, this amount of time or, you know, relationships, all of those things. Tell us about that.
I mean, it's everything. When I got to the point where I really decided I really wanted to like be good at bass and try to make a career out of it, you know, I was learning about the guys that to this day are some of my biggest inspirations: the Nathan Easts, the Anthony Jacksons, the Pino Palladinos, the Freddie Washingtons, the Lee Sklar's of the world. All of those great session players who would also tour with some of those artists and across different styles. Yeah. So I wanted to be like those kind of guys. Yeah. So, you know, just trying to dig my teeth into different styles of music. And, you know, I'm still trying to make myself a better musician, you know, just doing different things and allowing myself to go into situations where I can be challenged. That's also going to make me better. Yeah. Not really shying away from stuff. Sometimes you run into a situation where it's like, okay, I guess I wasn't ready for this. But you learn from that experience. Yeah. Then you can go shed it in the background. And then when that type of opportunity comes up again,
you know how to.
You're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some of those, and those are they're frustrating. They're nightmares. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like and it's even worse when the person that hired you knows, like, oh yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's a character builder though.
Absolutely,
and it's necessary.
You know, I think we get caught up in our culture, like thinking everything's gonna be a win. And it's like not like you learn more from your failures sometimes than your wins.
Yeah, that's what they say in business all the time.
Oh, absolutely. So what's one of your biggest failures that you had to learn from?
I mean, like I've auditioned for gigs and didn't get the gig, you know. But the good thing was, like, for example, in one situation, I went to audition for a pretty well-known jazz artist, and they had an album that was doing well in the sector at the time. And the drummer that brought me in to audition, he said, "Hey man, just do you." And you know what happened was the artist loved what I was doing, but it was a little bit too much of a departure from where he was at that time with the current sound already being out. So, you know, maybe in hindsight, I could have dialed it back some or tried to approach it like that, the way that album had sounded. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I went with the advice I was given. It didn't pan out. But at the same time, the artist called me. He's like, "Look, it came down to you and this other guy. Yeah. And I'm going to take the other guy." Right. You know? But it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some divine purpose and divine, like, what would I say, like leading sometimes. Yeah, people make decisions. Yeah, and like, you know, as I'm an artist now, and one thing somebody told me was like, some people gonna like your stuff, some people not gonna like it. Yeah, and it's very simple. Like it's nothing personal with that. It's just preference. Sometimes, you know what I mean. You can have great product, you can have great skills. Some people just not gonna like it, and some people gonna love it. Yeah. And so you know, you gotta just kind of understand that's just the world. Mm-hmm. Take me through. So I got introduced to you during the days of the Village Underground. Right. That's when I would see you on the stage, you know, and that was like Village Underground was a thing. I can't believe it's not. It was
definitely a thing.
But like, tell me about how you got started in that and what that experience was like.
Okay, so going back to like when I was in high school and I was starting to get around, you know, you had, you know, the local gospel scene again. And so I'm from the Bronx. Okay. And I grew up the street from Greater Faith, the original Greater Faith. Okay. So Faith Temple Church of the Living God, which was what it was at the time, Michelle White's church. And so I would, you know, I remember hearing the music and I would go down there sometimes. And once in a while, I'd play hooky from my home church and go over there because their band was smacking. I mean, this is back when Soup Executive Pastor Stephen White was on drums. You know, you had Scott Van Putten and Derek Garbo and all of them, Elijah Goodwin. The whole band they were rocking all the time. They sounded like a live recording every Sunday. Wow. It was insane. And I remember one time, Mike Phillips came down there and sat in with them. Sax player Mike Phillips. And like, so this is long before he had an album deal. Mm-hmm.
Before he connected with Jordan.
Exactly. This is before all of that. And then I think about not even a year later, because at this time I was getting around and I had started work with Staten Island Mass Choir. Okay. Back then. And some of the guys in the band knew Mike, and they brought him in one time for like one of the concerts we were doing, and we kind of hit it off. So I stayed in touch with Mike because he saw like, he was like, "Yo, I like what you're doing." Yeah, mind you, I'm only like 14. Right. And so eventually, what happened was Mike Phillips was the one who introduced me to Ron Grant and that whole scene. So he started taking me around because at the time Mike was working with like Joe and SWVs back when he first started doing tours, because he was a sax player who could play keyboard parts with the E. Yeah. And so since he knew that's what I wanted to do, he said, "Okay, cool, you got to start hanging out." So he would take me down. I remember the first time I went down to the Blue Angel and watched him and the house band do a showcase for Men of Vision at the time. Wow. And it was like him, Jeff Davis, Donald Parker, all these guys. So he was the one who introduced me to Ron Grant and that whole scene of like the open mics.
Wow.
And, a couple years later, fast forward to the Village Underground, I would start going out, hanging out, and I would see Bernard Bell down there and got familiar with Uncle Tony Stevenson.
Tony, yeah.
At the time, Gary Montu, Stanley Brown, and Mike Campbell. And then years later was Shedrick and Sherrod Barnes, Nat Townsley, my boy Jermaine Parrish, Al Plummer, all of these amazing musicians.
Yeah.
And, initially it was Bernard who said, hey, you come down here and bring your bass. I was like, I'm just trying to learn. He was like, I don't care. You're going to bring your bass.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure you sit in.
Nice.
If you don't know a song, cool. One of us will get back on. But you're going to come up here and play.
That's dope.
And just having that kind of community and mentorship is what, got myself and Jermaine and other people, the younger guys who were eventually later on the guys in the band.
Yeah.
We got in there like that.
Let me ask you this question. What do you see that happening more, like less or more these days? Because I don't really see a lot of mentorship or pulling up like
I think it's just happening differently because back then we didn't have social media, we didn't have all the tech that we have now. I try to do my part with younger musicians that are coming up. If I meet guys at a spot, whether it's an open mic or if we meet because of a gig or a session or whatever the case may be, I try to make myself available. Hopefully I'm never, making people feel like they can't get to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I do, it's not it's not intentional at all. But because guys did it for me. Why wouldn't I do it for the next generation? I feel weird because I don't feel like I'm this age.
I told my wife the other day, I said, I feel like I've been the same age for like almost 20 years.
In my head, I'm the same age I was 20 years ago.
I feel like after like 26, you just kind of be the same age for like 20 years.
And then you signing up for something on a computer or whatever, and you ask you for your age, and you gotta keep scrolling and scrolling.
Like they ain't got my year yet.
Bro, come on, man.
Nah, trust me, I understand. That's the struggle. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe people when they were our age in past generations, they felt like they were young. I always felt like these ages, like my age is older back then. But I feel like it's young these days.
Yeah.
People are younger these days. People are living longer. So, I think there's a lot to it. Tell us about, because Ron Grant was one of the, one of the most amazing host and singer and just like a cool dude. I got to meet him a few times and he showed love. Like he wasn't like a gatekeeper, which you see a lot of people being. Tell me what it was to work with Ron Grant.
It was great, man. I mean, he's one of the best singers I ever had the pleasure of working with. And man, to this day I miss his voice. Yeah. I was literally thinking the other day about I think it was either a Donny Hathaway song or something that somebody was singing somewhere. And I was thinking to myself, other than this artist, no one could sing this song like Ron Grant. He was one of those guys. I wish we had like more documentation of his voice. That's where social media would have really, oh my gosh, He was ridiculous.
Amazing. And I don't even think a video or even audio would capture as well as he was. Like he was ridiculous. Like he was like a Marvin Winans. No, not Marvin Winans. A Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
His voice was like so smooth. Yeah. He had highs, lows. Like oh my gosh. Yeah. Like hearing him sing was dope, and that was like one of the highlights of being at the Underground. You know you're gonna get to hear him. Yeah. You know you're gonna hear Melanie. Yep. Like those were just like golden days of music.
Melanie, Cheryl,
Pepsi Riley,
Mike Davis. You know. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience.
Oh yeah.
I'm very privileged that I got to not only be there for that, but to be part of the legacy of it.
Yeah, you're part of that, man. It's amazing. And if people like try to recreate, it's almost impossible. I think
that was a special situation.
Yeah, that was just stamped in time as like you had to be there.
Yeah.
And how many like artists did it attract? Like that attracted like the whole industry, right?
Yeah. Well, part of that, I'm sure was the fact that Ron worked in the industry, because he, you know, he used to do he was doing like A&R consulting and things like that. Vocal coaching artists, you know, so helping with the artist development, which is, you know, this, I don't know how many people are really
art too.
Yeah, I was trying to not put it that way, but it kind of is.
It's kind of develop on your own.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, because
and if you do it, if you get through, we'll check you out.
Right, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Using the analytics of, you know, what we have with the social media information out now to kind of like dictate, okay, this person is already bubbling. Let's put money behind someone who already is gaining traction. Yeah. But, you know, when it comes to performances, sometimes, man, what I see with some of these artists or their situations, I'm like, you need a little more work.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? It's not to say that they're not talented, but they can put some time into refining who they are.
Absolutely.
So that presentation when they come out
is
now it hits the way it's supposed to.
I mean, you think about classic artists like, I mean, one of the best of all time. Actually, probably the best. Michael. Yeah. Michael was groomed in artist development as a child. Yeah. So by the time he became a solo artist, he's a professional in his first album. You know what I'm saying? And so people I think underestimate the power of artist development. I mean, I look at the modern day Michael, similar situation as Beyonce. Beyonce father, you know, pushed her and kind of nurtured her, artist developed her. Absolutely. With the group. And then by the time she's solo, she already knows, she's already thinking like an artist. She's already, because she's already established. And I think that that's underrated. So I love that Ron was there as a part of that. Yeah. And the Village Underground was like a platform for that also. Absolutely. I'm sure it was supported that way too.
Yo, absolutely. And especially, you know, sometimes they were letting, you know, some pretty young individuals in. But, you know, you give him, you know, he would bring them up on stage because he would see talent in them. Yeah, yeah. And, you know, for a lot of us, man. And it's I remember when we, you know, when we played Ron's funeral, and I was looking around, it's like myself, Corey Henry, Sasha Allen, Tiffany Stevenson, all of these people. I'm like, yo, we're all part of this. Yeah,
part of that, like
part
that,
of this
that was
legacy.
Your tree.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing. Jaden.
Yeah, Gene Noble for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I grew up going there, and I was just like in awe. Yeah. And I mean, and I even got to sing a couple of times, and I felt like, you know, I held my own up there, but like it was intimidating too, because these guys is up there killing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of singers and musicians say that, and I get it.
Oh yeah. That's New York, man. It's like it's no bigger stage in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is amazing. So tell me about the music scene, like on the recording side, because I know you do like I know you've done a lot of live performances. Yeah. How have you? Let me put it this way, because I feel like this time of the musician, you kind of got to be a little versatile. Yeah. Like whether it's genre, whether it's you got to be able to record, you got to be able to tour, you got to be able to maybe mentor, like a lot of different things. Yeah. Tell me about like how diverse you have to be as a musician these days.
I mean, my philosophy hasn't really changed too much, because like I said, when I first decided to do this, I was really looking at the guys who were already kind of versatile. Those are the guys that inspired me the most. So I guess that's just kind of playing in my favor now, because I put in some of the groundwork years ago, trying to be as versatile as I could, at least as far as playing went. Yeah. It just depends on what the person is trying to do, because I mean, look, if you want to do a Broadway gig, you know, your sight reading got to be there. Yeah. You know, if you want to do certain types of gigs, you may have to double on a certain instrument. So there's certain rules from the old school that are still in play. Absolutely. But in terms of the other aspect of it being a little more tech savvy, you know, everybody has a recording rig now. It doesn't take that much to record now. You know, back in the day, it was like, it was almost unheard of to say, okay, I'm recording a whole album at the house
At home.
because you had to spend $20,000 on equipment.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do that now.
Absolutely.
You know, the barrier of entry is what, $4,000?
Yeah,
maybe.
Oh, money less than that. If you know what to get,
Exactly.
you could spend probably a couple hundred on the recording device, and then maybe a grand or two on the pre's and stuff that make it sound magical. But then you're gonna have you're gonna be like on par with anybody else.
Yeah, but you can get a starter setup. Your interface could be $600.
Yeah.
So,
nah, it's definitely a different time. I mean, it's good. I think it creates a good competition.
Yeah,
but also, like you said, a lot of unrefined. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because and then. The good thing, even with unrefined, you have a lot of information. So like you got people who literally never went to school, never sat under somebody, and they can learn how to mix a record. They can learn how to record it properly. So that's I mean, like I said, there's so many things that are good and bad in our time now. I think a lot more good probably, but But definitely
it depends on
it depends on what side you're talking from.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like, so there's a big debate in gospel music right now. Like, recently, there was the BET Awards, and Glorilla won the gospel award,
right?
Which was a big debate. You know what I'm saying? And I think, as a musician, I have thoughts. And as an artist, I have thoughts.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
You want the spiritual argument or the secular business argument?
Let's hear both.
I mean, look, we're talking to church folk.
Right.
We already know what the spiritual argument is. Right. Even if we're talking to non-church folk, at least half the time they understand what the spiritual argument is.
Right.
Even if they don't want to side with it.
That's true.
The secular argument for the church folk is, okay, you're talking about a network where you as a viewer may not be their core demographic.
Right.
Did you cast a vote?
Right.
Then what's the argument?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, did you lose?
It's just like any other election, whether it's a corporate thing or industry thing or, government.
Right.
It's, okay, did you cast a vote? Okay. Were you on with the majority? This is what happened. You have to kind of like deal with it. So when it comes to awards, people have to remember that there is a voting process. BET is one of those fan awards.
Right.
So it is what it is. If you're in the industry, then you get to deal with like Academy type awards, which is the Grammys, the Tonys,
Oscars,
for their given sector.
Yeah.
And that's when people like you and me get to say, well, we're in the club.
Right. So we get to have a say. So we have done enough to be able to comment on this.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it's, the Glorilla's fans are the ones that are still paying attention to what's on the algorithms and like what's tracking. And, if they're the ones voting for something, that's the result you get. No,
that makes sense. I mean, like I said, I had mixed thoughts myself. I mean, one, I love that she did a record like that.
Right.
I think that that's a big deal. Yeah. I think that it's commendable. It almost seems like, that's cool. It almost seems like it's popular now.
Right.
Like you got Snoop putting out gospel. Like he's about to do a
second. He's about the second one. Exactly.
Kanye
did his.
You had Killer Mike kind of had like I would say it's like a 50-50. Like it was the spirit of gospel, but he was cursing on that thing like normal. And I mean, he's killing. So it's like, for me, I could respect that they all are like, it's almost like they paying tribute to like their grandmother or their mother or somebody that nurtured them in that. Right. And if that, which I believe God will use that for his glory. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the amazing part about it. It's like, these guys are on high up platforms. I mean, like some of the highest platforms. So I love that part about it. Right. But then as an artist, I'm like, now if you're not taking food out of their mouth or nothing like that, but you are taking an opportunity in some way, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a small club though. Gospel is such a small organism.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of similar to the argument that was being made about Beyonce recently with with the
with
country
the
album.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we have this club over here, you've been over there, and now you're coming over here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that as well.
I almost see it like as a reverse of what Taylor Swift did, because to me, Taylor Swift started in country, and was like, I'm gonna go take pop. You know what I'm saying? And so again, there's no rules that says you can't do it, and I think if you can do it well, that's amazing. Yeah, and that's Beyonce did it well. So and one thing I commented on one forum about the fact that with recording industry, the Grammys, when we're voting in the Grammys, one of the things that's a stipulation is the album has to have 51% or more in that genre. Yeah. So like if you're going to say you're jazz, it has to have 51% or more of the album in jazz, or same thing in country. So she met that criteria. Right. So, Glorilla? Yeah. Maybe not. But again, but
was that criteria for that award?
It wasn't, exactly, and that's what I said. It wasn't the criteria for that award. So you got to say, you know what?
If they meet the criteria,
she did what she needed to do. You know what I'm saying? And again, like she did that. I remember Nicki did a song with Tasha Cobb.
Right.
Like I said, it seems like a trend. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm all for it.
And it's not like this is the first time this has happened, but absolutely. We're just able to talk about it.
I mean, look, in the 90s, I loved hearing the interludes of Faith Evans or Mary J. Blige, which was basically gospel interludes.
I'll do you one better. We go back to the 80s. Ain't no need to worry.
Yeah.
Why don't you need Anita Baker?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you definitely have seen this interaction over time. And I think it's great because it's good for our culture. I mean, now you brought up the Winans. You Teddy Riley.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, those to me are people like,
and if I remember, they was catching flack for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And again, I mean, and then in the 90s, Kirk, doing what he did. Mm-hmm. It was like a big deal to have Dark Child on the record, but
right.
But again, those things, I love that stuff because it brings more eyes to that genre, which doesn't really get a lot of attention already.
Right.
And the attention that it does get is so look,
it's usually controversy.
I love our culture, but at the same time, we make it a lot exclusive sometimes. A lot of things, you know. And I think that there's a lot of people who want to celebrate our culture with us, and they do. But I think there's only certain places where they get to, like Broadway. When we do stuff that's representing our culture, people love it from all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And then even in like these instances where rap, like Kanye, Sunday service was huge, man.
Yeah, it was massive.
A big thing. I think that shifted a lot of people. I think it influenced a lot of people spiritually. Yeah. And Tiffany was part of that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people.
A lot of amazing people.
Who's one of the artists you worked with that you like? It's like, and I don't want to get you fired. Who's your favorite artist? Like, no, it got to be the one you're on the gig with. But like,
love you, Rob.
Exactly. So I mean, I guess I'll ask this question like this. What was one of your favorite experiences with any artist that you work with?
Man, I've had quite a few. I remember, biggest crowd I've played in was the first Rob Thomas tour I did. Oh, shoot, now I'm gonna give away my age.
They can look you up, man.
Google is free. Playing Live 8.
Okay.
Philly stage, Live 8 was crazy.
Wow.
And us going on right before Stevie Wonder, who closed out the set on the Philly stage. Talking, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people. I think it was close to 1 million people in the streets, just packed.
Wow.
Yeah, that was insane.
Was that like one of those summer events?
Yeah, that was the global Live 8.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it now? The Global Citizen thing they call it now?
Global Citizens is different. I've done that as well.
Okay,
I did that with Alicia once.
Okay.
That was
that. We got to see her her Broadway show.
Okay.
And how was working with Alicia?
It was great. It was great. And I was with her for close to 2 years.
Nice.
MD the
Was Andre
world
good,
tour.
No,
I was the MD, so that was after Andre. So the first iteration of the band after.
Got you.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah. So that whole Girl on Fire.
Yeah.
Dope. Ended up MDing that world tour, which was amazing.
That's dope. And I mean, she's such a big artist. I mean, like huge artist.
Huge
artist. I got so much respect for her.
Yeah.
Just her talent and her ability to transcend so many people, and like she just represents a lot in culture.
Yeah.
And you saw that in the Broadway show.
Yeah. I'm happy for her.
Yeah,
it's great.
Definitely. What's someone or an artist, or who's an artist that you didn't get to work with that you wish you did? They'd be dead or alive.
How much time we got? Man, never got to work with Prince. I would have loved that.
And I did Mike Phillips was connected to Prince.
Yeah,
so.
I did get to meet Prince because I did get to play with an artist, and we opened up a show for him, musicology tour.
Oh yeah. I got to see that tour too.
Yeah, that show was incredible. It's one of my favorite all time shows.
That's when he had the sign and he's playing in the
middle, he was in the round. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so dope.
Yeah, so sick.
Yeah. He's an artist that should be studied, like in terms of one, musicianship, work ethic. I mean, like,
but you got to also study his brain too. Because to be that talented, that young, to be able to, like now it's so much easier to produce yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas back then, I mean, like he would like go in the same way like a Stevie Wonder would, have to like play a straight drum beat for 5 minutes
for the whole song.
And then go back and now I'm
gonna play the bass. Or
I'm gonna play guitar and I'm gonna do my keyboard parts, and then I'm gonna go do my vocals.
Yeah,
like what?
Yeah. And they don't make them like that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's definitely some out there.
There's some geniuses out there.
Oh no, absolutely. But I mean, like, you don't even cultivate it in society as well, though.
Right.
Like, I mean, you don't even have strong enough music programs anymore to cultivate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the most unfortunate thing I think now, because I mean, a lot of I have a few friends. I'm going to go see a friend tonight that I met when I was in high school, and we were in the music program together. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that we don't have, the general government funding for, a more robust arts program.
Now, you went to a high school in Bronx?
Yeah, Adlai Stevenson.
And they had a good music program?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to music teachers, man. I'm a music teacher, so I love, I understand the plight. And I mean,
I guess I can say now I'm a music teacher.
Yeah, you are too. You're a professor.
Just finished adjunct.
Hey, that's all right.
Just finished my first year. So
how was that experience?
It's enlightening. It's very enlightening. And I'm enjoying it.
You work with my boy Chris.
Yeah, Chris Scholar, the great Chris Scholar.
Oh my gosh, one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask this question, because that's a thing that I think musicians don't necessarily all get, because there's so many musicians, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to musicians and talked to I remember I talked to my accountant. He's like, "Yo, you're doing so great." But I have some musicians that struggle.
Yeah.
He's like, how, what are some things they could do? I said, you have to kind of find work and create some things.
Yeah.
We're creatives.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to create it, whether that's a course, whether that's a, offering lessons. Because if you got something to offer, there's somebody that can learn it. You know what I mean? But one of the things I realize is that some people don't pivot. They're like, this is my thing. And if I don't get to do this, I'm just lost.
Yeah.
Talk about, again, we mentioned it before, diversifying. Like, how do you diversify? Like, what are some ways people could diversify as a musician? You're teaching, but you're also touring. I'm sure you do session work, stuff like that. So,
yeah, I'm just all of the above, man. That's what I do. Pause on that, D.
you gotta give the pause. You gotta do the pause. If it's a New York conversation,
it was delayed, but hey, it still counts. Yeah. Yeah, man. I just try to make myself available. Sometimes things will come to you.
Yeah.
Just like the teaching thing, it came to me. You know, Chris gave me a call and he recommended me, and now I'm doing it.
That's dope.
And you know, it's funny because I've had a good number of people over the years say you should teach. I'm like, I'm good. You know, and not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
it's not where my head frame was at the time.
Gotcha.
But you know, now I'm open to it, and I think it's also cool because in the process of teaching, you kind of start noticing things like, oh yeah, I need to go brush up on that. All right, yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about teaching. I mean, like when I first started teaching, I didn't feel like I was ready to teach. To be honest with you, and I was
so it's not just me. Good.
Oh no. That's norm, bro. I mean, I think because you got to get your rhythm, you got to kind of get your flow and how you're going to approach it.
Yeah.
What things work and what don't work.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we could think, okay, let me just teach you a major scale, and it's like, no, I don't even know where the notes are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and every student is different too.
Absolutely. And so you have to kind of be open to changing up the playbook a little bit to fit the student.
Yeah.
I think that's a key.
Yeah. And it's not just like mentally or like how they interpret information. Sometimes it's like it could be ergonomics because you have someone with like a different stature.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I have, you know, some bass students that have like some real tiny hands and I have to like
how they gonna get up the frets?
Okay, my fingering isn't gonna work for them. So now I have to like, you know.
Yeah, modify.
Yeah. Make adjustments.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's incredible. I mean, like I said, sometimes as Black musicians, we kind of resort to, we either in church somewhere or we trying to chase a big tour.
Right.
But there's so many things in between.
There's a lot of stuff in between.
Like it's just so many things.
There's always the local gigs. You know, a lot of people, you know, weddings, corporate events, all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, whether, you know, there's still avenues to be creative, making music, whether you're writing and producing it or just doing an arrangement, you know, before y'all let AI do everything. I'm just saying.
Which they trying to make happen.
Yeah,
well, the companies are trying to make
the
happen.
Companies are doing
It's not the musicians that's doing it. It's
right.
the company.
Right.
But I think they're going to have a lot. I think we have to develop more creativity, I guess. And I think we're creative, but I think there's a lot that we've kind of allowed to be subjected to like loops and, you know, stuff just like you said, Prince back in the day going in and playing the drums because it's gonna every time he plays it's gonna be slightly off. It's not gonna be perfect. Even if he's playing with a click or a metronome. Like those are things that are lost. And even me as a musician, as I learned like production, like MPC, you know what I'm saying? That was my learning curve. And so I learned from hip hop producers. So samples. But I always hated samples.
Talk about wiring the MIDI rack, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or patch bays and all
Come
that
on,
stuff.
patch bays.
People don't know nothing about that.
The outs versus the throughs.
Exactly. I mean, listen, part of the reason why people couldn't just record at home, you needed the equipment that connected to the equipment. Like, how did you connect all that stuff? So it's crazy. I mean, you wanted speakers, you had to treat the room. Like, there's so many things that still you need to do.
And if you didn't want to just like have like a one pass down, it's like, okay, how much did an ADAT cost? You got what was it like 5 racks for 8 tracks back then?
Yeah. The Alesis, ADATs.
Or the Tascam DA88.
Yeah. And look, that was great time because that was like the cutting edge technology.
Absolutely.
And from reel to reels to that.
Yeah, because it costs less than the analog tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the analog just has so many other things. You had to service things. You had to service the heads of the tape machine.
Absolutely.
You had to service the board. This channel is getting glitchy. You know, it's so many things.
And the sessions took more time.
Absolutely.
You know, because I mean, you got to rewind the tape. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to track stuff out that you had programmed in MIDI, all right, cool. Well, you got to stripe track 24 first. You know what I'm saying? Leave 23 open because you're going to get crosstalk and, you know.
So you worked in the studio.
Come on, man. I know a little something.
This sound like studio talk.
I was doing sessions young.
Engineer stuff, yeah.
I was getting into the studios before I was done with college. So
yeah, that's dope.
I knew what was up.
I remember my aunt, she built Daddy's house.
Okay.
Studio on 44th. So I was there as much as I could get there. And one time she let me record there. She actually let me do a session. It was crazy. This is a story I tell all the time because I felt like she was testing me. And she was in New York
to see if you really wanted it.
Yeah, like she was like, I said, yeah, Auntie, I wanna record a song. So I'm probably like 16 years old. And she was like, all right, cool. Let me hear it. And I was like, what? Let you hear it? No, I want to record it. All right, let me hear it. And that simple thing, I'm gonna tell you, that simple thing was a lesson that I teach students all the time. Like, it's not that she was like questioning if I wanted to do it. She just wanted to see how prepared I was to do it and how prepared I wasn't. Yeah. And just in asking that, I realized I wasn't prepared. Yeah. Like I had an idea in my head, but I didn't really work it out. I didn't practice it and all that stuff. So it made me go back and practice it. It made me go back and say, okay, she's not going to let this happen until I show her that I'm ready. And so when I did, obviously I got to do the recording. Yeah. But I like some of the things you're saying, yo, like the engineer has to take so many notes. Oh my gosh, it's so what's on this track? You had to write everything down.
There was no automatic recall. There was no scripts. And even if you had the digital board with the recall, I mean, still, like,
even with that, you had to write everything down because the next session is going to basically wipe it out.
And you got to swap the tape.
It was so tedious.
I tell my students all the time, y'all have no idea. Yeah. I'm like, I sound so old, but it's true. They really have no idea,
bro. It's so. I mean, like, I thought it was a big deal to just have a Pro Tools rack or something like that. Like, and I remember when Pro Tools first came out, the Digi 001. Yeah. You had to have the hardware and the software. Yeah. So even if you were recording at home, you had to have both. Yeah. And that was a G. Yeah. That was $1,000. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. And then that's no computer. You had to get computers that had certain specs.
Hold on. When I started touring, we wasn't using computers for playback yet. Using VSs.
Wow.
1680s.
I got one. I got a 1680 here. So that's crazy, man. It's crazy. And that was still digital. Yeah. But that had limited memory.
It was the same idea, but yeah.
But those were cool. I mean, I love the advance of technology because when you get to now where you're able to literally automate and let it just do it. You're drawing automation. Yeah. Now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I mean, one day.
And sometimes I'm glad for it, bro.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, some things I wouldn't go back for. I mean, I think pulling the faders and like that kind of thing was a good experience. And I even do it sometimes, like when I'm mixing like strings or something like that. Yeah. I like to ride, even if I'm automating, I'll ride it just to get that real feel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But who's your favorite artist you work with in the studio?
In the studio, that's a little tricky because most of the time I'm not in there like while the singer is tracking.
Got you.
You know, it depends on the kind of recording that we're doing.
No, that makes sense.
You know, because I mean, look, like I've worked with J. Cole, but you know, his lyrics weren't down yet. Right. You know, I played on Crooked Smile. Okay. But you know, so it's like I'm playing the whole song down and trying to feel out where the sections are, but I don't know
which is crazy.
Where the verses are. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. I was at a session. My cousin did a session. He's a trombone player. I don't know. You know Saunders Sermons?
Yes.
Yeah. That's my cousin. So I remember.
Know that?
Yeah, that's my family.
Saunders the guy.
He's got 2 Grammys. I'm like, bro, you ahead of me. I'm gonna catch up. Yeah. But yeah, so he was doing Deja Vu. They were recording Deja Vu. Him, Keon Harold, and Kenneth. They were doing horns with Dark Child. Yeah. And I was like, oh, now I recorded in Sony Studio, so I know the studio with the same engineer. But I'm like, okay. When I asked him about it, he's like, yeah, Beyonce's not there. Like, right. This is just tracks.
Yeah. We're doing a track.
It's like, okay. Yeah. And you know, you might get the credit, but you ain't really get to play with them.
Right.
But Maxwell, of course, he got to.
Yeah.
Play with, so
Yeah.
Listen, man. Anything else you want to share, like in terms of just like encouraging? Because I think that one, I'm grateful that you came out and shared.
No, thanks for having me, man. It's an honor.
There's a lot of people who will benefit from hearing from somebody that's a working musician, successful working musician.
Yeah,
because I think there's highs and lows to it.
There's definitely highs and lows, but you figure out how to ride it out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And again, it's you find your lane, and you continue to progress with that. And if you're doing all of the right things, being a professional, being understandable, respectful, and being diligent about the music and the situation that you're working in, people 9 times out of 10 they're going to want to call you back.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you just have to do all of the right things, have the right attitude, the right mindset, and try to come with the goods. I'm grateful that I still get the calls that I get, and I continue to get calls from other people that say, "Hey, so-and-so recommended you. Are you available to do this?"
That's dope.
And,
once they know what you bring, I mean, I think relationships go a long way.
They do.
I've heard. I want to say I heard. Who's the keyboard player for y'all? For Rob Thomas?
We have 2. Well, they're multis. There's Matt Beck, who's the musical director.
Okay.
And then there's Corel Tunador from LA. But they're both lefty guitar players who also play keys and other things.
Kill me. That's something I really like, that opened my eyes, just like people's musicianship. Like that's what I feel like you got to work with other people so that sometimes you get exposure to like what you could do or what
absolutely.
I remember when I was working with Israel. First of all, Israel plays keys. He plays guitar. He plays like a lot of instruments. But like then when I met all his MDs, because I've seen him with like 3 different MDs.
Yeah,
they all play keys. They all play guitar. They all do all of it well too. And I was just like, yo, this is a thing. I like, for me, just like opening my eyes when you see people do it. Like, I think that's getting out and just like experiencing people, man, is important. Like there's so many things, so many people out there. Mentorship is important, like from the giving back, but also like reaching out, because sometimes we work in isolation and we just like, I'm gonna just do it myself,
right?
But like there's value in meeting other people, to going and giving people their respect and saying, listen, man, like even if they don't have time to show you something, they might be able to direct you in a
absolutely
position. I got to work with Shed, man. That was one of my best experiences in my life.
Shed is a wealth of information.
Oh my gosh, he's a
master. I'm very blessed to have solid relationships with guys like him, Ray Angry. Some of the other musical directors that I've gotten to work with, the David Cooks, the Michael Beardens. Adam Blackstone, guys that I can call up and like, and they continue to call me for work, Nah,
that's important, man. I mean, I think that people sometimes think that what gets you the gig is showing off on the gig, like, like the highlight reel or something like that.
It can have its place. Sometimes it depends on what people want.
I think sometimes people might want to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
But most situations, they don't really want you to do that, do they?
Yeah.
In your experience? Because I haven't seen that either.
I've seen the pendulum swing either way. Like I told you before about the audition, and I ended up not getting the gig because I was doing so much of my thing.
Yeah.
And then I've also been in other situations where like maybe in the rehearsal, I'm still feeling my way through stuff. So I'm doing what in my head might be a little too much.
Yeah.
And then the artist likes it. And it's like, okay, we're going to build off of that, or we're going to create this section where you have that and you do that thing.
Yeah.
So it can be very depending. I think half of it is just knowing how to read the room.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you are correct though, because I've also had those situations where it's like you go in and do one show, and then you go in for the second show, like, hey, by the way, that thing you was doing, don't do that.
Don't do that no more. Yeah. Listen, man, I feel like I was a killjoy as an MD sometimes with people. And not because I don't want to hear people's stuff, but I realized a long time ago, like early, that it's not always about one instrument. It's really never about one instrument unless it's a solo.
Yeah.
So there are moments in records that have a solo.
Yeah.
But like I've had to turn down guitarists or like different people, drummers. Like, yo, bro, this ain't a solo, man.
Right.
Like, you know,
exactly.
like when you're building a unit, like when it wasn't really until I started doing like wedding bands. That's why certain experiences are like priceless. Because in wedding bands, I remember first before I was the MD, my man Lee Hogan's was the MD.
Oh, I know Lee.
Lee, cool dude, man.
Yeah, we've done a few of those together too.
He locked in like how to, because he had horns. So horns, you got to make space for horns. Yeah. If you playing everything, like you got to think of everything as like a soundscape where we're filling in gaps, right? Yeah. But like if the horns have this spot, then everybody else got to kind of support it. You know what I'm saying? And so you heard those amazing Kool and the Gang and Earth, Wind & Fires do that precisely. Yeah. And so when you play their music, if you just play the music the way they wrote it, you're gonna see where those pockets are. Yeah, you're gonna see where those.
And then also, even in those situations, you know, whether or not you have two keyboard players or it's just one, two guitar players or just one, because you know there's some songs where it's like, okay, you can take that part, I can take this part. Yeah. But even on a lot of the records, there's actual parts. Yeah. How many rock records are there where there's 4 or 5 guitar parts stacked? Yeah. How many R&B records are there where it's like 8 keyboard parts stacked? Right. So if you got 2 or 3, you know, everybody's gonna have their thing to do if you did your homework. Yeah. you know.
Yeah. I remember playing like a Kool and the Gang part, and the part was so simple. Keyboard wise. Because a lot of that stuff with horns,
a lot of times
the keyboard part is like, bro, it's like 3 fingers maybe. Right. And I could see where someone who's used to doing a lot more probably get a little bit bored. Right. But you gotta reflect on the whole, not your own. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's been my thing. Yeah. Tell me how underrated the pocket is.
Man, come on, man. The pocket is everything. Absolutely. The pocket is absolutely everything. And in relation to that, like time management musically is one thing. But time management in terms of preparing for things is a whole other thing. Because that's sometimes like, you know, especially when you're not like out touring, or if you're home, you're doing the local grind, you know, whether it's playing on a church on Sunday, maybe you got wedding gigs or you got other things during the week. Managing time just so that you can prepare the music for what's coming up.
Yeah, yeah. While you're on a gig, you could be on a gig and be like, okay, there's a whole nother gig that has nothing. Like we'd be at a wedding or we'd be in Atlantic City playing a casino, and then there's a anniversary tomorrow, or there's a special guest going to be there tomorrow. Yeah, like you got to manage. You have to manage. Well, I know I had to manage.
You are not alone.
Preparation.
Yes, sir.
Because it's like, I only have one day to rehearse this stuff, and that just takes looking ahead, like managing your time. Maybe I don't have no social time, right? Because I gotta work. You know, I gotta grind. So that's part of the job, real. Man.
It's definitely part of the job.
You working or be like, okay, you need to be home. Yeah, because you don't got time.
Yeah, because I've had those times where I'm like, someone calls me for something, I'm like, I'm free, but outside of that, I'm not free for like 9 days straight. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. Yeah. That the time it will take me to do that one extra gig and learn that music.
Complicate everything else.
Yeah. You know, Jamie Hawkins used to tell me this. He said, "There's only so much room in the Kool-Aid jar."
I love Jamie.
Me too, man.
We did Duke's wedding.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah.
I love Jamie.
Yeah, man.
He's one of the dopest musicians.
I learned so much from him, man.
He was one of the musicians I get to hear like note for note. The record. Like Stevie, note for note, the record. Brian McKnight. We played those at Duke's wedding, and I'm like, I don't know that chord. You know what I'm saying? Like it just this joke will like learn from the best, man. So, you know, he's cut from that amazing cloth. So.
Genius.
But, man. Yo, listen, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you sharing. This is Al Boogie. You'll see him in a city near you, I'm sure, with Rob Thomas.
Yeah. And when does this air?
This I don't know when it's gonna end.
Oh, okay.
but you'll see him on tour. You know, I'm sure you'll see him on TV some places and all of those
At
things.
some point, sure.
But again, this is the Musician Shed podcast. We're just trying to shed some light for not only up and coming musicians, older musicians, young musicians, just whomever could be encouraged by information and just continuous learning, because we should all be learning continuously.
Yep. And you never stop learning.
Absolutely. See y'all later. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks for listening. To stay up to date between episodes, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, or if there's something specific you want us to dive into next, leave us a comment. Catch you in the next episode.